Farfetch'd. Perhaps the most underrated Pokemon out there. I wouldn't blame people for hating on it. It has horrendous stats, no evolution, and a mediocre typing. I'd say the design is just about the only thing that's good about it. Not even the base 25 attack buff it received in Sun and Moon did it justice. It seems like Game Freak never really cared for this Pokemon. And like many, I never really cared for this Pokemon. That was until recently, when I stumbled upon a ROM hack for Pokemon Fire Red. I won't tell you where I downloaded the original hack, nor will I tell you the name of it. And for one reason. The game is pretty much 90% the same as the original Fire Red. The other 10% being what I've experienced. Rather than people going through the trouble of completing the game to witness everything I discuss, it'll be a lot easier if I explain my story in full detail. As I've already mentioned, the game was a carbon copy of Fire Red. Being the completionist that I am, with all Pokemon fan games, my two goals were to become the League Champion and complete the Pokédex. Of course, I always start out with the first. Everything was the same. Were there any new Pokemon? No. Different trainers? No. Different items? Nope. Given the misleading title and description of the hack, I thought I was going to see something unique. It appeared that my expectations were being fiddled around with by a troll who just copy and pasted the original just to waste my time. It didn't matter though. I was too curious, and had too much time to give up. I waited to see the end. After earning my place as the Pokemon champion, my next step was to complete the dex. I only insisted on finishing the regional dex, since there was no means of trading from other games. Plus, it was possible to complete it without obtaining Mew, who wasn't catchable in the game. Everything went well. I searched through every nook and cranny, Pokemon that I didn't capture on my first run. I grinded and stocked up on evolutionary items. Things took an unexpected turn when I'd come back to Vermilion City. Before I returned there to obtain one Pokemon that isn't worth being in anyone's team, Farfetch'd, I first had to catch Spearow. I did so, then visited the house on the left of the Pokemart. Upon entering, I walked up to the girl named Alyssa, so I could trade with her. I noticed that her text was different. "Please, you have to help me. My parents will be home soon, and they're planning on having my Farfetch'd for dinner. I tried telling them that they couldn't because he's my best friend, but my dad says he's too much trouble. What's worse is that most of the Farfetch'd were hunted while they were migrating last season, and I haven't seen any of them ever since. My Farfetch'd might be the only one left in Kanto, or even worse, the entire world. I see you have a Spearow. Please trade it with me. They won't notice the difference, and if they do, at least they'll have something to eat tonight. Yes or no?" I was quite dumbfounded by this, because Farfetch'd is classified as an endangered Pokemon according to some of its Pokédex entries. It's often hunted for food, so Alyssa's reason behind wanting to trade her Farfetch'd was a nice touch. Not only that, but this part probably explains why there was only one Farfetch'd in the game, and it's domesticated rather than being found in the wild. I felt bad for trading away my Spearow, even though it was going to become stew. It was for the greater good. I hit yes, and the trading sequence occurred. It had the same nickname under Alyssa's ownership, Chiding. It was silly, but I didn't mind it too much. "Alyssa, you're the only one who can save his species. I heard there's a daycare somewhere out on an island. Farfetch'd needs to breed to repopulate. Hurry!" At that moment, I remembered another Pokédex entry for Pokemon Crystal. In order to prevent their extinction, more people have made an effort to breed these Pokemon. I thought to myself, will I be the first to rescue Farfetch'd from extinction? Even though it was a minor side quest, somehow I felt excited and was totally up for it. I checked Chiding's stats to see if they were any different. He had the same base stats that he normally would at level 20. His nature was lonely. Either this was intentional, or I happened to receive a lonely Farfetch'd on the first try. In order for me to reach 4 Island, which had the only daycare to breed Pokemon, I had to do everything necessary to obtain the Rainbow Pass, I visited the Pokemon Center to deposit Jading into the PC since I didn't have any use for him at the time. This Pokemon is the last of its kind. Don't be negligent. Take it with you. I was surprised to see how much the game was concerned about its endangerment, but also disappointed how I didn't even have an option. Not only did I have to bring Jading on my quest, but it slowed down my road to Dex completion by quite a small amount. I had to put it on hold anyway since I'd already received the national Dex and I had to do other things in order to get to the island. If I got this extinction problem over with, I could get back to my plans. It seemed very urgent. My quest was almost finished. I went to the daycare, dropped off Jading and a Ditto from my PC, then left. To kill some time while I waited, I ran in circles for about 3 minutes. The old man stepped outside the fence, and then I proceeded to go talk to him. Jading and Ditto are doing fine. Ditto seems very friendly towards Jading, but Jading doesn't seem to be in the mood. It prefers to play by itself. Why don't you come back later and see how it's doing? It felt quite weird seeing this message. No matter what Pokemon you breed it with, Ditto always gets the job done. Why wouldn't the Farfetch'd breed with it? Then it became clear to me. This Farfetch'd has a lonely nature. It was the only one left, and that gave it a great sense of sadness. Therefore, it wasn't in the mood to breed. I decided to take the old man's advice. I became sure that after a little while, the Farfetch'd would cope with its depression and finally mate with the Ditto. I left the island to continue filling my decks. After filling in about 30 more entries, I returned. Only this time, the old man and woman were blocking the door. Was there something wrong? Something terrible happened. While you were away, Jading and Ditto got into a fight. Jading started it. Ditto transformed and fought back to defend itself, and Jading became badly injured. We did the best we could to treat its injuries, but in the end, there was nothing we could do. Jading is gone. Gone? As in dead? Just so you wouldn't have to bear the pain of seeing your old friend cold and lifeless, we've donated his body to a laboratory far away for research. As an apology, we will give you Ditto back with no charge. We are terribly sorry. Was this it? Was that all there was to it? Have I come all this way to do one important favor for the entire world, saving a beautiful creature from the brink of death, just to fail? This couldn't have been my fault. I was under the impression that the creator of this ROM wanted me to feel very bad, but I was just pissed. This had been an entire waste of a playthrough of a hack. Hell, I wouldn't have even called it a hack at all. It was just same game with one twist that led to no positive outcome whatsoever. At this point, I didn't seem to care anymore. I just wanted to finish this game. Still a little angry, I continued to finish my Pokédex. I checked to see how many spaces there were left. I didn't catch it at first glance, but I noticed something. The entry between Magneton and Doduo, number 83. It was gone. Farfetch'd wasn't in my Pokédex anymore. Of course, I knew what this meant. But did it also mean that I wasn't able to complete my Pokédex now? I figured that the only way for me to get this question answered was if I headed back to Professor Oak's lab. I immediately flew back to Pallet Town in search of answers. As soon as I entered the building, I noticed that all of Oak's assistants were turned towards me, as if they were staring at me. I walked up to Oak. His back was turned, facing the wall. I proceeded to talk with him. Red! What a surprise! I had heard about what happened at the daycare on 4 Island. It must have been tragic, knowing that the last Farfetch'd in existence died an unpleasant death. The body that was sent to us, is all that remains of it. It's just a piece of forgotten history now. Oak turned around to face me. And after all those years wasted, I thought I'd be able to count on you, to travel to the region and collect data on every Pokemon out there. But now, one of them has been removed from the list, The data regarding them is useless to us now, as we're unable to see them in their natural habitat. It's all because of you. Because of your recklessness, that Farfetch'd is gone. I thought I saw myself in you. But now, I realize what I actually saw was a broken future. I don't care if you're the Pokemon champion now. Get out of my lab. As soon as I left the lab, the screen cut to black. I was back in my room at my house, and a text box appeared. Was it really my fault? This can't be happening. I need to lie down and get some rest. My character went inside the bedsheets. I waited for a few seconds before something occurred. A battle sequence started, but this time there was no music. Dead silence. What I saw next shocked me. It was a Farfetch'd, but coloured grey. It had black sockets for eyes, one having a glowing red pupil. Its legs and beak were coloured white instead of yellow. The leek it was carrying was brown instead of a healthy green, meaning that it might have gone bad. It had an open wound on its stomach, and the tip of the leek was covered in dripping blood. Its cry became slower and lower pitched. The background was entirely pitch black. I was wondering when I would send out my Pokemon, but my character just stood there on the screen. It was a dream after all. Of course my Pokemon wouldn't be there. I couldn't access any options. Fight, bag, Pokemon or run. Completely useless. In between minutes of waiting, different text boxes appeared. We're all dead because of you. Everyone must hate you now. We may not exist anymore in reality, but we'll still live on in your mind to haunt you. The memory will live on and on and on. Have fun with the guilt, and then the game froze. Thanks for sticking around to the end. And if you enjoyed today's story, make sure to leave a like. And if you want more like it, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss a story. If you need more now, why not check out my Pokepasta playlist? I'll leave that on this card, and I'll catch you in the next story.